Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review The Apprentice, and this is from director Ali Abbasi, writer Gabriel Sherman, and tells the story of Donald Trump during the 1970s and 80s, and he teams up with infamous lawyer Roy Cohn. And this is starring Sebastian Stan of Marvel fame and films like I, Tonya and recently A Different Man. And he plays Donald Trump here, and we have Succession alum Jeremy Strong as Roy Cohn, and Maria Bakalova as Donald Trump's wife, Ivana. And this film follows along this younger man, this young version of Donald Trump, who has aspirations. He has people who he wants to, stick it to, the government, the wealthier people than him, and he sees his opportunity teaming up with Roy Cohn. He takes his shot. Cohn, a gay man with that very much in hiding, who wound up dying of AIDS, who was such an interesting and also very problematic figure, as he really set the stage for modern politics and basically taught Donald Trump everything he knew about playing the system. And you see that if I remember watching this Roy Cohn documentary and realizing oh, so much of his playbook is exactly what Donald Trump did to get himself elected president. And this film is very interesting because you see this younger Trump, Sebastian Stan, imbuing him where there's this confidence, there's this facade of confidence there, because there's vulnerability underneath the surface. And I appreciate that it's not like Alec Baldwin trying to do this impression, but you believe it, you feel that casting, and the film doesn't dig too deep and does not really challenge this version of Donald Trump, this character Donald Trump, with all the things he winds up doing. It feels a lot like we're taking this surface level approach to looking at this man, his rise, and a lot of the underhanded things that he'd do, the horrible way he'd treat his wife, Ivana, after they get together. There's one particular scene that really was hard to watch, but I feel like Stan gives... There's a layer of empathy there. There's an interesting perspective in terms of Trump feels like an actual human here. And you have the likes of Martin Donovan, who plays his father, Jeremy Strong, who's very eccentric and quite funny, darkly funny throughout the film. I think Jeremy Strong gives a really good performance, and this film anchors so much on that dynamic between Trump and Cohn, and I feel like Stan and Strong have that chemistry to really make that work. Bakalova, I think, is charming and holds her own, but not given a whole lot to work with, to be honest. And this film, like I mentioned, really doesn't dive too deep into the events of Trump's life. It's very much that biopic kind of skimming across the surface. There's quite a bit of lampshading where it's just acknowledging something, and then you're just sitting there okay, I know where they're trying to make a reference here. And in general, I think there's good tension and conflict in this film. It's that kind of story where it's Donald Trump is the underdog in this story, and you kind of feel for him. And then you see how he's let this power, this money go to his head, and this spiral descent into this larger-than-life caricature that he would become. And I think those two main performances really make this engaging. This also has a very sleek, handheld camera kind of feel from Casper Tuvin, who is the cinematographer, and really makes it work. And there's some really well-chosen music cues in terms of that 70s and 80s music, really capturing this vibe of what the 80s were, the decadence, all of the consumerism, the capitalism, unchecked capitalism going on, and you feel that vibe that we are in high-class society, New York City, in this film, and the texture of the camera work and the film really gives it some layers, and it's interesting to look at too. And in the end, I feel like this film is an entertaining, well-paced experience. It just doesn't hit the depth that you would hope it would in terms of this very controversial figure. But those are my thoughts on The Apprentice. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.